So this is the very first, session or the lecture on strategic planning and management, the basic concepts before we proceed to the proceeding next sessions. So the contents, there is a brief introduction. Okay, then the concept of strategic planning and management, then the various strategic planning models, then a few case studies of strategic planning in the industries, and the benefits of strategic planning and management. Let me start my presentation with a small story. This story I have taken from a book known as Alice Looking Through the Glass. It is written by Lewis Carroll in 1872, in which Alice is a small girl and she is wandering in a jungle, so or in a forest. So when she's moving in a jungle, she comes at a point from where two roads are departing. So she's standing at that crossroads and she's very confused which road to take. So then a cat comes from behind a tree, and the cat asks Alice, "Can I help you?" Alice said, "Yes, please. I am lost and need to know which road I should take." The cat asked, "Where are you going, by the way?" Alice said, "Gee, I really do not know where I am going." "Well," said the cat, "then it doesn't matter which road you take. So, in case you do not know where you are going, you can take any road. It will take you over there." So, this small story from that Alice, Alice looking through the glass, or Alice, in the Wonderland, that series basically. So, this shows the importance of the planning or the strategic planning. So, first we have to plan for any endeavor, whether personal or professional, and only then we can execute that. So, planning is very important. So, we say that if you fail to plan, you are basically planning to fail. Most of the people who fail because they have improper planning. In fact, I was reading somewhere that in case you want to cut a tree, you will try to sharpen your axe for 6 hours and then cut the tree within 2 hours, rather than taking a blunt axe and cutting it in 8 hours. So first you have to plan. You have to get all your resources together, plan, and then you have to execute the task. Let me take a few small case studies at the very beginning. Very interesting case studies. This is case study of a toothpaste company. A toothpaste company was trying to devise a way to increase their sales. Instead of going for the conventional idea of advertising or giving away 20% extra or discounts, one of their marketing professionals came up with the following idea. He said, "Slightly increase the radius of the mouth of the toothpaste," and the bingo. Because once you increase that diameter, of the opening, so when you press the tube, more toothpaste comes out, and that is how you consume more, and then you buy more, of course. So this would automatically increase the consumption, giving rise to bigger sales volume. So again, a very small, case study, but the idea was, it was fantastic idea. It came from the marketing person, not from the R&D person, from the marketing person. So the ideas, they can come from anywhere. The second case study of a boxing is the Rumble in the Jungle. That's the name of the case study. The Rumble in the Jungle was a historic boxing event in 1974 in Kinshasa, Zaire, which is now known as the Democratic Republic of Congo. It was held on the night of October 30th, 1974. It pitted the undefeated world heavyweight champion George Foreman against the challenger Muhammad Ali, who is now a former heavyweight champion. Ali won by the knockout, putting Foreman down just before the end of the eighth round. It has been called arguably the greatest sporting event of the 20th century. So how he did it? Ali had told his trainer that he had a secret plan for the Foreman, who was an undefeated champion at the time. As the second round commenced, Ali frequently began to lean on the ropes and cover up his head, letting Foreman punch him on the arms and the body, a strategy Ali later dubbed as rope a dope. As a result of this, The foreman spent his entire energy throwing punches that either did not hit Ali or were deflected in a way that made it difficult for the foreman to hit Ali's head, while sapping foreman's strength due to the large number of punches he threw. This loss of energy was the key to Ali's rope a dope tactic. So again, it was a planning done by a person to win by first losing and then winning. Winning, losing the battles, but winning the war. Right. So how this there's a origin of this term, this thing strategy. The term strategy derives from a Greek word strategos, which means literally the general of the army. So it has basically the military roots. Each of the 10 ancient Greek tribes, they annually elected a strategos to head its regiment. The strategoi, which is like a council, they advise the political rulers as a council. They gave strategic advice about managing the battles to win the wars, rather than tactical advice about managing troops to win the battles. So rather than winning the small battles, they were focusing on winning the war. So that is a strategic, looking at the overall picture basically. So they were not, thinking about winning the small battles. Maybe you have to lose some battles somewhere, but ultimately you have to win the war. In fact, I was watching, television a few, months back, in which the then, the CDS of our country, the Chief of Defense Staff, who has unfortunately expired in a helicopter crash, General Dipin Rawat. He said that when we had this, India-Pak war in 1971, it would have been a much better strategy to lose on this, on this eastern front, like in this Lahore front, basically, for a few, days, and get the GNK completely over there. So we were trying to, advance on this side. The best strategy would have been to lose a little on this side and capture the entire GNK at that time. So that is how they make this strategy basically. So from this military roots, the strategic planning has always aimed at the bigger picture. The focus is on the results or the outcomes rather than the products or the outputs. Now let us discuss the concept of strategic planning. Strategic planning determines where an organization is going over the next few years. So where are you going for the next few years? These years could be 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. Generally 5 to 7 years, generally. How it is going to get over there and how it will know if it reached there or not. So there are three things if you see that where you want to reach, so where your institute wants to reach, how will you reach over there? And once you reach over there, how will you come to know that you have reached over there? So which are those, those parameters which once fulfilled will give you the confirmation that you have reached there or not. So again, in a little graphical this thing format. So where are we right now, where we want to be, and how to reach over there, both at the personal level and at the professional level, and even at the institution level also. So where are you right now, or where institute is right now, where you want it to be in the next 5, 7, maybe 10 years, and what will be the strategy to reach over there? Which are those goals and sub goals, and what are the timelines, how you will reach over there? That is how strategic planning is. Now let me explain this this strategic planning terms through an analogy. So I'll take a simple analogy to understand the strategic planning. So the analogy is that suppose you want to go out of your home for a vacation, maybe somewhere. Okay. So when you talk of the mission, the word mission in the strategic planning, we talk of vision, mission, etc. So what is the meaning of mission? If you see the analogy, that means why are we traveling? So what is the purpose of the traveling? You see, for any institution, what is the mission? What you are doing basically? You are teaching the students, you're doing a lot of other activity. That's your mission basically. So similarly, If you want to travel, let us say, go out of your home. So why are you traveling? For example, the reasons could be to relax, or to gain renewal of your energies, to strengthen the family bonds, because once you go out of your home, you will enjoy, you'll sit together, have food together, and then you will enjoy, have a better family bond, get educational experiences, etc. So that is the analogy. That is basically your mission in the vacation planning, and this is the mission in a strategy plan. Now, what are the values? So the analogy is that our priorities in how we carry out our trip. For example, have a good time, listen, talk, go to quiet places if you want to, let us say, meditate at some place, have opportunities to meet new people, etc. So those are your values for the trip. And these are the values in the strategic planning, analogy. Then what is the vision? Where we want to end up, and what we will be doing at our ultimate destination. So what is your vision? That means for any, in the vocational planning, where you want to reach exactly. What is the purpose? Where you want to reach? And what you will do over there. So that is like your vision basic. Then the external analysis. What we cannot control. So some things are which are not in our control. So the analogy is that checking the weather, road condition sector. So you can check the weather, but the weather can change anytime. You can check the road conditions on the Google map, but when you go practically over there, the road conditions maybe not that good over there. Some construction may be going on over there. Then the internal analysis, what we can control, what's in our hands basically. Checking our available vacation time. How much time do we have? The conditions of our car, who will drive, and which are the different stretches, who will drive whom, which stretches basically, etc. Then what are the goals? The major stops along the way. Then the strategies, that is, these small organizations do not identify strategies normally. So the major routes we will take to the major stops. Suppose from Chandigarh, you want to go to, let us say, Delhi. So suppose Delhi is my destination, Delhi is my vision. Now from Chandigarh to Delhi, there are many routes. I can go via Ambala, via Karnal, via Panipat. There are different routes. I can go, via, this is from Mulana. There's another route over there. So there are different. I can go via Punjab also. So what will be my strategy? What will be my route basically? Then what is action planning? Who will drive each route? You can check the map and make hotel reservations, etc. So this is about basically action planning. you know then budgeting, identifying how much money we will be needing to spend. That is the analogy in the vacation planning. Then implementation and adjustment of the plans. So we get into the car and start our vacations. Some roads are under construction. You see, when you go over there, you had checked from the Google map, everything was okay. But once you reach over there, you find that something is going on over there, and you may have to change the route. So you have to change the route midway. That is, that was not actually pre-planned, but you have to, do the adjustment accordingly over there. How does strategic planning differ from the strategic thinking? Strategic thinking is primarily an analytic and creative decision-making process that ultimately results in an appropriate strategic plan for the organization. So first you think, it is in your brain. So that is basically the strategic thinking. Then what is the strategic planning? The process of converting the results of the strategic thinking as a set of potentially actionable strategies into an integrated plan of action that can be implemented. So whatever you had thought, once you put it in black and white, and how you will execute that, so that becomes strategic planning. Okay. So converting it into a black and white paper, or on a computer, maybe, and then how to execute that. What will be the strategy to execute that? That is the strategic plan. So what is a strategic management equation? Strategic thinking plus strategic planning results in a strategic change, and that is all basically the strategic management. That is the strategic management equation. Okay. The purpose of strategic planning is to lead the organization to an effective new strategic direction, thereby achieving organization success. So suppose your organization is limping on the way, it is not giving some good results, and you want to do a turnaround basically. So do you do some strategic planning and the strategic management, and then you achieve the organization success basically. Strategic planning is a management tool uh, used to help an organization to do a better job, to focus its energy, because you know that where you have to focus all your energies basically, to ensure that all the employees are working towards the same goals, to assess and adjust the organization's direction in response to the changing environment, and to continually meet the present and future demands of the stakeholders. So stakeholders are very important for any institution. We have a lot of stakeholders. So what are their demands as of now, and what could be the potential future expectations? So we have to forecast those expectations also and fulfill those expectations also of the stakeholders. That is how you can really be a successful organization or a successful person also, if you have a proper planning uh, for your organization or for yourself. Now there are different planning exercises. There's something known as the project plan, tactical plan, and a strategic plan. So let us try to differentiate. Now, what is a project plan? Project plan includes the detailed activities, responsible individuals, and the timelines required to complete a specific project. For a specific project, this is a project plan, just for a small project only. It has tangible and measurable outcomes. There's a specified start date and a targeted completion date. I'll put all these PPTs on the Google Classroom, and you can see from there. So there's no need to write. You can just watch and listen to the presentation. The second is the tactical plan. The tactical plans include the overall activities, measurable outcomes, the responsible individuals, and the targeted completion dates required to succeed during a short period of time, like a year. So that is like a tactical plan. Now, like at NITTTR Chandigarh, we make an operational plan, or a training calendar, which is for a year. We prepare well in advance. In March, we prepare, February, March, we prepare, and put it on the website. It is starting from April to the March of next year, basically. So that is a tactical plan, which is like an operational plan or a 1 year plan. It must be monitored regularly during the year. Now comes the strategic plan. So first was a project plan meant for a project, for a small project. Then the tactical plan, which is for a year approximately. Now comes the strategic plan, which is normally for 5 to 7 years. The overall direction required to achieve the organization's mission. A strategic plan requires the organization to take a longer term perspective rather than the operational situations. So first we make a strategic plan or a corporate plan, a 5 year plan, 6 years plan, 7 years plan, 4 years plan, and then from there we derive our annual operational plans basically. It must be monitored regularly during the period. What are the characteristics of strategic planning? It takes into account the internal dynamics and the external dynamics. So what is inside and what is outside? When you make a plan, in fact, when I was at CPSC Manila, Philippines, I was working there as a faculty engaged as a faculty as a core faculty over there, and I was selected by a board of 18 ambassadors of different countries. So I was given the duty of making a strategic plan. We call it as a corporate plan of CPSC Manila, Philippines, for the next 5 years. I'm talking about 2007. Yeah. So we have 18 member countries in the Asia Pacific region, including India, and I was given the responsibility of making a 5 year strategic plan of the CPSC. So I was there was a committee. I was chairing that committee, and we had faculty from different countries, so from Mongolia, from India, from Pakistan, from Sri Lanka, from Thailand, from Philippines, from Malaysia. So there was a team of people, and I was heading the team. So it took almost 6 to 7 months, visiting different places, different countries, talking to the different stakeholders. We were working almost 17, 18 hours in a day. It took us almost 6 to 7 months, and then we prepared that complete, exhaustive, strategic plan. So not only for the external stakeholders, but the internal stakeholders also, the internal people, the faculty of CPSC, the staff of CPSC. So for them also, if you make a plan for the outside, the people who have to execute, they are the people who are inside. So there should be a plan for them also. So in the internal stakeholders are also very important. Like in your institutions, the faculty, the staff, they're all internal stakeholders basically. So they should also be taken into consideration. Or if they're properly, if they have their proper, defined responsibilities and the duties and the resources also with them, only then they can execute the plan. It analyzes the effectiveness of the organization in its goals and the objectives. It establishes if a change of direction is required. So once you have a strategic planning exercise, you can come to know whether you need to change your line of thinking or your line of action or line of working of your institution basically. Because when you get the feedback from all the external stakeholders and the internal stakeholders, like if I talk about, let us say, NITTTR, who are the stakeholders? If you talk of the external, the polytechnics, they are all the stakeholders, engineering colleges, management, schools, all the technical institutions, the pharmacy, the architect, they're all stakeholders. So they're all stakeholders. Then the industry, the community, the society, they're all stakeholders. Internal, the faculty, the staff, they're all, stakeholders basically. So we have to take everybody's, consent into the mind. Now these people, they can guide you that maybe you are losing your way somewhere. You have to correct yourself, or you have to adopt a different, let us say, a different pathway basically. So if you do a proper strategic planning exercise and talking to all the stakeholders, you will come to know whether you need to change your direction or not. Strategic planning is not an activity that is once off. It is a regular exercise basically, done every 5 years. And, it is done for 5 years. And then during the midway also, we do a midterm evaluation also. Like, once you have completed 2.5 years, we do the midterm evaluation also. It's not conducted at 1 or 2 days planning sessions. It takes a lot of time. If you're really serious, it takes time. Like for an organization, for an institution, it may take 1 month maybe approximately, or 2 months maybe. Now, what is the need for the strategic planning? The main reason for your organization to do the strategic planning is to give you an edge over your competitors. If you have done your proper planning and then the execution followed by the planning, you are at a much advantageous position as compared to competitors, because they are just moving at random, but you're properly planned. Generally, people begin to think about the planning only when they have the problems. Strategic planning helps your organization to avoid crisis in present and the future, because you have anticipated those crises, and then you've taken already the corrective actions already, or the preventive actions already. If you plan and think ahead, you will get more resources, you will have more skills, you will be better able to serve the community in which you are based. By encouraging others in your organization to plan strategically, you will get fresh ideas from different people. Strategic planning can help you to identify the cause of some of the problems in your organization, and subsequently, it will enable you to come up with the solutions also. Through the brainstormings, talking to the stakeholders, listening to them, taking their views, taking their feedback, taking their wisdom nuggets, and doing again the brainstorming and solving the problems basically. When to have the strategic planning? The strategic planning should be done when an organization is just getting started. In case you're opening up a new institution, you must do the strategic planning. Strategic planning should also be done in preparation for a new major venture. For example, if you want to develop a new department or a division, or you want to launch a major new product or a service, strategic planning should also be conducted at least once in 5 years, or as and when the organization feels deems fit. How to schedule the strategic planning process? Each year, the action plans should be updated or formulated. So from the strategic plan, you come to the annual operational plans. So they can be updated depending on the at the present, the circumstances, the present situations basically. During implementation of the plan, the progress of the implementation should be reviewed at least on a quarterly basis. Now, there are three stages in a strategic planning process. The first stage at the very bottom is determining the present position of the organization through a SWOT analysis. There are many analyses, SWOT is just one of them. So, what is the present position? What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities and what are the threats or the challenges basically? So, what is my present position of my organization? So, first you have to see what is my present position. Second is deciding the likely position of the organization. That is where you want to reach. What is your futuristic vision, right? And third is establishing an approach to achieve the vision and implementing it. So how will you achieve your vision? So what would be the approach and how you will implement that? So mainly three things, basically three stages. First, assessment of the present position. Second, where you want to reach and how you will reach over there. Now, there are different planning terms in this. I have given a small analogy also in very beginning. What is a vision? Vision is an idealistic future. What is the mission? Mission is a distinctive competence and your purpose basically, for what you are there, for what your institution is there. That is your mission. What are the goals? Qualitative outcomes and the results. So the outcomes which are qualitative in nature, not quantitative, but qualitative in nature, they are known as the goals. The strategies, means for attaining the goals and resolving the issues. And what are the objectives? Specific, concrete, measurable statements, that is smart statements to achieve your goals. So for achieving the goals, you can have the strategic objectives also, okay, which are smart, which are specific, which are measurable, which are action oriented, time tested, and result oriented, something like that. Smart objectives for achieving the goals. Now let us talk of the various strategic planning models. There are many models. I take only two models, the basic ones. The model one is the basic strategic planning model. And this, what is the process? Identify your purpose. That is, what is your mission? Basically, select the goals your organization must reach for accomplishing your mission. So, if something is your mission, then what will be the goals basically to achieve that mission? Then identify specific approaches or the strategies that must be implemented to reach each goal. Identify specific action plans to implement each strategy and monitor and update the plan. So first, have a mission. From the mission, what could be the goals? For achieving the goals, what could be the approaches or the strategies? And for the strategies, what could be the action plan? And then the monitoring basically. Okay, that is the basic strategic planning model. The second model is issue-based or goal-based model. And this conduct the external and the internal assessment through the SWOT, or there are other measures, other instruments also. Then do strategic analysis to identify and prioritize the major issues of the goals. Design major strategies to address the issues of the goals, and then design your vision, mission, and the values. So you can go either way basically. And then of course establishing action plans. Action plans means what are your resource needs, roles, responsibilities of implementation, etc. Then develop and authorize the budget for year one. That is okay. Conduct the annual operations and then monitor, review, evaluate, update the strategic plan document. So first you make a document, a 5-year document, implement it on a yearly basis. When you implement on a yearly basis, you learn some things. So based on that learning, you can revise the remaining portion or for the next year's operational plan or the tactical plan for the next year basically. So this is again in a graphical format. So where the institute is right now on the top left hand corner, where the institute is right now, where you want the institute to be, and how does the institute gets there. So where you are right now, where is my mouse is there, where you want to be and how to reach over there. For that, you do the analysis, the environmental analysis or the SWOT analysis, keeping all stakeholders into your mind. So all stakeholders must be consulted, must be a part of your exercise. So from all this exercise, you have your vision. From vision comes your mission. From mission comes your goals, and then comes your objectives or your strategic objectives, basically. Okay. What will be the strategic planning team? The chief executive, that is the principal or the director, should be included in the planning group and should drive the development and implementation of the plan. Senior decision makers in the institutions, like the deans and the HODs, should be there. Then someone who is good at facilitation, who can act as a coordinator, who is good at facilitation, basically. Representatives of the faculty and the staff should be there. Then someone who represents the stakeholders. So what are the stakeholders? In your case, what are the stakeholders? The students, the parents, the society, the community. They're all stakeholders. The industry, they're all stakeholders. Like the industries, the world of work, community at large. So involve some of them also. Hire an outside consultant or a facilitator if the organization has not conducted the strategic planning before. If you're not good at this thing, if you're not aware of, it's better to hire a person from the outside, a consultant. Or the previous strategic planning was not deemed to be successful. In that case, you can also hire a consultant, basically. There's a wide range of ideas and concerns among the organization members about strategic planning, and all these current issues need to be addressed in the plan. So sometimes an internal person doesn't do a proper justice also, because he's a little biased sometimes. So in that case, you can take a person from the outside who is not biased. Then no one in the organization feels committed to facilitating the strategic planning. In that case, again, you have to hire a person from the outside. The leaders believe that an inside facilitator will restrict the participation from others, because sometimes you have your own you know uh, people you like, people you do not like. So that is always the bias is always there with an internal person. Leaders want an objective view, that is someone who is not likely to have a strong predisposition about the organization's strategic issues and the ideas. So someone who can tell the top management, without any fear. If there's an internal person, he may think of saying or not saying, but if a person comes from outside, a consultant, he can tell it point blank for the method of the organization. Then approve the plan and then implement the plan. So one or two people should get the overall responsibility for the implementation of the plan, and at least there should be one person should be take responsibility for each activity in the strategic plan. Then the monitoring and evaluation of the plan. Are the goals and the objectives being achieved or not? If not, then consider these questions. Will the goals be achieved according to the timelines specified in the plan? If not, why not? So when you're monitoring or when you're evaluating, you have to check the progress, basically. Should the deadlines for completion be changed? Do the faculty or the staff have adequate resources? You have given them the responsibilities, but do they have the resources also to fulfill those responsibilities? So do they have the money, the equipment, the facilities, training, etc., to achieve the goals? And are the goals and the objectives still realistic? Because so once you make a 5 years plan, after 3 to 4 years, 4 years, the goals may become obsolete. So you can change the goals also at that time. Should the priorities be changed to focus more on achieving the goals? Should the goals be changed? Yes, it is possible to change the goals also. What can be learned from the monitoring and evaluation to improve the future planning activities? Then what are the benefits of strategic planning? It leads to effective action. It results in a participatory and inclusive process, because when you have all the people who are a part of the exercise, it becomes a shared document, a shared vision, a shared mission. Everybody takes responsibility basically. So it results in a participatory and inclusive process which will lead to taking ownership. Builds a shared vision based on some common values. It helps you to define the purpose of your organization clearly, which will lead to realistic planning. It helps you to remain focused and sensitive to the environment in which the organization operates, and it helps the organizations to be accountable to the stakeholders. So these are the benefits of strategic planning. I think that is all. This was a very first session, so I think we are well on time at this.